Hello, everyone, and welcome to Biomechanics, so SPSC 1151. Uh, in this class, we'll explore kind of the biological components and then the mechanical or physics components of what helps us move and how we move. A lot of it is a base knowledge of physics and then integrating the biological and the sport or the mechanic component into that. So, we will need to review some math and explore physics and concepts in and around physics, which is really cool because understanding physics helps you understand the world and how the world works, not just say performance in sport, becoming more efficient or avoiding injury, because that's ultimately what biomechanics is for. But let's review in brief the syllabus. You're expected to go through it on your own as well, or refer back to it if you have any questions. And then in another video following up from this one will be a brief review of your schedule. Again, it'll always be there for your referral. The number one thing that I really need to emphasize with everyone today is you absolutely positively need to get announcements from Blackboard via email. So if you're not getting that or don't know how to set it up, search Google and find some tutorials to help yourself figure that out, because we should expect to be rather flexible for a semester, either because of COVID or weather. Both instances might lead to last minute changes in course schedule, whether we'll be doing some online content that day, skipping a class, or the like. So yeah, 100% subscribe to your announcements on this class, okay? Great, so let's get into Blackboard. So if you're on Blackboard, what you'll do in order to find course information, so your syllabus and your schedule, is click on course information. And I've already loaded up here the syllabus, so you can see what that's like. We'll scroll down here to maximize that. I suppose first and foremost, I missed it, but I'd like to do a land acknowledgement, and depending on where I'm performing class or teaching class from, they'll be either in New West, Coquitlam, or potentially here in Vancouver, where I live. So I want to acknowledge that Douglas College in and of itself is on the traditional territories of the Coast Salish peoples of the Pequot, I believe, and the Coquitlam First Nations. So that would be Douglas College campuses. Myself, coming from Vancouver, would be on the unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, First Nations primarily. So and I just generally, I'm always open to learning and having discussions about Indigenous ways of learning, or further to that, just the reconciliation process. Like, I know myself as a third generation settler, I feel that through my experiences and my understandings of speaking with First Nations peoples about what reconciliation is to them, is acknowledging and understanding and hearing stories about their experiences, and then all of us kind of learning and growing together and building a future together. So I'm always open to having conversations about that and understanding where each of our positionality is in that conversation. And hopefully, if you don't know much about that, please do some research for yourself. One of the best ways to get started, I typically have been told, is to visit, say, this website and just see who, what sort of Indigenous populations inhabit where you live and work, where your parents live and work, where friends and family might live, and just having a greater understanding of those populations. Okay. So turning back to biomechanics, if you need to contact me with questions about the course or anything, here's my email. Definitely email me. That's the number one way to set up either office hours with myself or ask questions regarding the course. A note about emails and emails to me. I'm aiming not to do any on the weekends, so Monday to Friday is the time to catch me. That being said, if there's assignments or big projects due, say on the following Monday, I'll try to make time to do that. Additionally, if my responses seem a little short or brief or just to the point, I'm not angry or anything like that. I'm not upset. I'm just trying to be concise in my answers. I get tens and tens and tens of emails regularly. So I'm trying to minimize the amount of time that I put towards that. So if you give me this big, long, very heartfelt email, I've definitely read it. I feel you. I see it. Even if my reply might be a bit short. Okay. That being said, if there's a long delay in my reply, typically what's happening is I'm waiting on someone else to get more information to be able to give you a good response. Or I might be waiting for a certain time to be able to make an announcement to the entire class. So it's probably such a great question that I'm like, yes, good. I'm going to get to that in 4 days and I'm going to let everyone know more details about it. So again, just a little heads up there with emails. If something is you feel is really pressing and really dire, do feel free to send up a follow-up email, but just know that that's the context around the emails, okay? Great. So moving forward into course-based stuff, the course description, I already gave a little intro to that. The outcomes ideally at the end of the day is you're going to be able to analyze and look at the physics that apply to human movement. In particular, we look at sport quite a bit, but we look at human movement in general. For required text, there isn't one. There's an online open source textbook for you available, I believe under course information here, maybe course content, so you can explore that. It's really supportive in what you're doing, but a lot of students also find a lot of support through some YouTube videos. I can try to direct you to some that might be a bit better and a bit more applicable to the content that we're going over, because there's usually about up to 3 or so different approaches that you can use to solve certain equations and certain problems. So yeah, as best you can, like always, feel free to try to learn more. But there is open source textbook here that will be pretty spot on to what we'll be doing. There's some other suggested and supportive open source information. So in short, no purchase of textbooks needed. Okay. Technology in class. I love technology. I think it's great. I think it's a great way to support learning. The one thing I want you to be aware of, and that I will be very aware of, is your use of it for things other than coursework. So when you're in class, please stay to course content. And if for no other reason, it's just to be considerate to the people around you. They may be your friends and or acquaintances and stuff, but just simply scrolling or doing your own emails or something or anything other than what we're focusing on in class can be distracting. And it's really, really important that each of you have a learning environment that has that consideration upheld. So if you need to, absolutely, answer an emergency text or phone call or whatever, please just leave the room and go take care of that and do what you need to. But on that note, just why not turn off all alerts, all outside material? This is your time. You're paying for this to be in class and learn, and the less distractions, the better in this world. Okay. As far as course policies, they're here for your reference. I'm not going to go through each of them, but ultimately, if you're being considerate of other people's learning environment, and being ethical in your academic work, there should be no reason to ever need to refer back to this. But ultimately, being considerate of others and being considerate of academic integrity in your schooling you shouldn't have an issue, okay? But they are outlined here if you're ever curious if you're maybe infringing on something, or you feel someone has infringed upon your, say, safety or comfort in class, in your learning environment. By all means, you can refer to this, and please come speak to me, and we'll see what we can do from there, okay? College resources. This is great for all of you. So if you have some sort of support or roadblocks to your learning, accessibility services is a great place to start. So definitely seek their services out. Anything that I might not be able to support you with in class. The Learning Center is great to getting some support as far as like writing. There's a Math Center as well, which has worked really well for some students that are struggling with their math capacity in this course. Obviously, you can try to set some time office hours up with me. I'll be more than happy to go over things with you, but it's a great resource to even start with if you wanted to do that. Doug Life, hopefully we'll see more and more Doug Life events in and around the campus, but it's essentially your student life or extracurricular resource there. The library is really important, and online learning resource. With the library, we actually will give you, or I'll give you a whole class time that's set up that you'll go to the library, learn how to search using their databases. It's very different than Google typically, so you'll figure out how to get more efficient at that. And most importantly, especially for one of your assignments, you'll learn how to cite with APA citation correctly, and that should set you up for success on your assignments. Okay. As far as course policies specific to the class, again, expect some flexibility. There are all your lectures and supporting walkthrough tutorial videos for some practice exams, and lots of content is going to be posted online here on Blackboard. So if you don't know how to navigate it, definitely spend some time doing that. There's help tutorials, both online searchable by Google, but also on your left-hand column here, there's some good resources potentially for you there. So definitely familiarize yourself with that, and be okay switching maybe to online content. If that's going to be an issue with you, just contact me, email me, and we'll try to set you up for success and get you enough resources to be able to manage that. I already spoke about contacting me. As far as like formalities and stuff, when you're emailing me, try to have a level of professionalism. It doesn't have to be formal. Just treat it like an email versus a text message. Okay, I know some of you are answering a chain from your phones and stuff, and that's fine. However, that being said, try to keep some professionalism and format for emails. It's good practice for the work world. Okay. Submitting assignments. Last point about emails. Please include the class that you're referring to. It just kind of helps me figure out what section and class that you're talking about. It gets me to the resources to be able to help you a little quicker. Okay. Submitting assignments, I highly encourage you to do any of this well in advance, at least a day in advance if you can, just to avoid any technological errors that might come up. So, for example, everything will be submitted on Blackboard unless otherwise stated. But for this class, pretty much everything's submitted online. So please be ready and learn how to do that. Again, there's some tutorials around for you to be able to learn that if you are unfamiliar with it. Late assignments, and this is for any reason, technologically speaking, or life or whatever, is 5% a day. That being said, please, 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 if you foresee any issue as far as being able to submit something on time, please let me know ahead of time. I will take that into consideration, especially if you're not feeling well. But everything's online. You should be able to submit it in a timely fashion. And yeah, please read over the policy there if you have any questions about that. Similar with the exams, we only have a midterm and a final. So if you foresee yourself missing things because you're not well, let me know ahead of time. If you let me know during or after these events, I'm not really gonna be able to do much to help you out. Okay. If you're curious about course evaluation, here's an outline. If you're ever wondering why you got a certain level or mark on a, say, assignment or exam or something like that, you can look at this and get an idea of, okay, well, I did pretty good work. Well, that's a B range, Oh, I did just a satisfactory level of requirements. That's C level. A is excellent. So if you're really striving for an A and you're curious what that might look like when you get some marks back, I'm more than happy to review and help you set yourself up maybe for improvement on the next assignment or next exam. But I try to give a lot of feedback in the assignments themselves. Okay. So last but not least, this is what I was always looking forward to and wanting to know about on these reviews. So course evaluation. So overall, we have 2 what's called research practical assignments, and I'll give more details in class or through online videos to help explain what the assignments are and what they entail. You'll have 3 lab assignments, which means you actually go to lab and work with your lab facilitator there to do these lab assignments. You'll hand them in to them, and they'll get marked, okay? And last but not least, we have a midterm and a final exam, both worth 25%. So the RPAs are really kind of like take-home questions or assignments or papers to work on. And then you got your exams here, okay? If you want a bit more details on what they are, you can look at them here. They're not cumulative, but I will say for sure there are certain concepts from the midterm or first half of class that carry on to the finals. So I highly, highly suggest you work towards a great understanding on the first half of materials, because that will help you in the last half as well. Okay, and that's it for the syllabus. So again, next video coming up will be your schedule. Okay, and yeah, looking forward to diving into some biomechanics with you all this semester. Okay, cheers.